Singer, and I'm an artist with the Philadelphia Mural Arts Program, and I'm currently working in my quarantine studio, which is my husband's bag company, Reload Bags. Their store is actually closed right now, but their online store is open at reloadbags.com. So I'm working on a mural between 18th and 19th on Allegheny with New Cortland Senior Services. And it's going to be on a wall called Compass Storage. And after quarantine's over, I'll be installing the mural. This is behind me is one of the sheets from that will be installed in cloth on the wall itself. This is actually the design. So here we go. And this is the superimposed version of it. So this is sort of a design for it. It'll kind of look like this on the wall, hopefully. And for today, I'm going to be introducing a project that I've actually worked on as well with different art teachers in the past. This is mostly for adults or teenagers, or if you have a smaller child, an adult and a small child can work on this together. There are some more abstract concepts in this, so I would recommend teenagers to adults. So we're going to be creating a collage kind of similar to this design. An imaginary map is what I call them. Oops, upside down. So you're going to be creating a collage using paper and markers, pencils, and some glue. And I'm going to show different ways to create this map as well. And I'm going to limit this to about 20 minutes, and then I'll share a time-lapse video as well of making it. So yeah, I hope you can follow along. So at first I just want to share some of the supplies that you would want to have with you. I know supplies are probably difficult to get right now, but if you have any kind of glue, and on the step sheet there's like different ideas for glues. You can even use a glue stick. There's have a sharpener, pencils, a spoon, a rag, maybe a brush with water in case you do have any watercolors or water-soluble crayons. Now, for the first thing that we're going to do is create a page, a larger page than what you may already have. So if you have copy paper, that's fine. If you have cardstock, if you have nice printmaking paper, that's even better. The thicker the paper, the better. But for this purposes of this project today under quarantine, I'm just going to be introducing with regular copy paper. So you want to grab your copy paper right now, and I'm going to show you how to put them together to make a larger sheet. So you can make this as big as you want. If you want to add extra sheets, that's fine. If you already have a piece of paper, like printmaking paper, you could even just fold your printmaking paper in half. This is like a drawing I've started. I usually like to fold my works on paper in half so that they kind of create like a sketchbook quality to them. So I'll show you what I'm working on right now at home. So this is folded in half, and it's being worked on at home, and I kind of turn this around and around and around and work on it. So it's a little up close version. All right, so we're gonna start by getting two pieces of paper together, and you're just gonna glue the edges. So just glue right along the edge here. And then put your other sheet together over it. And now you're just gonna use your spoon to burnish the edge. Okay. Also, if you have a rag with you, that's good too, just to wipe up any extra like glue. So then you have your larger sheet of paper. I'm gonna set this aside. So please set your paper aside, and if you wanna pause the video, that's fine, and work on this, and then just set it aside. All right, and hopefully you have all your supplies, and you can look at the supply list on the step-by-step guide. I'm going to get started with talking about materials as far as research materials to have with you. So in the guide, I also am sharing some coloring book pages, and these are based on the mural this design as well. So I've shared coloring pages of this building, and over here, Uptown Theater in the coloring book pages. Now feel free to use my pages in this drawing that we're gonna work on, or you can find your own imagery by if you already have photos of buildings around your neighborhood, or you can look up Google Maps. So I'm gonna share with you how you can also work directly from Google Maps too on a different device. So if you don't have a printer, you can always look on a device, or you can print out photos of your neighborhood or your block, as well as a map. So if you guys want to go ahead and look for materials to work with, you can pause this video and then start it up again. So hopefully you have your research materials. Hi again. So I'm going to grab my paper that I glued the seam for, and I also am going to fold it in half. So feel free to fold this in half and then fold it again if you want. That way it's kind of like a sketchbook. So now I'm going to open this up. Make sure at this point that it's dry, okay? And work on it with the seam out. Towards the end, once you're done with this, you're going to actually have heavy books and flatten it out once everything is dry on this. So I'm going to grab my coloring book pages that I shared with you. I already cut out a part of it, so you can cut sections of it up and just glue it right onto my paper. So I am going to put this right on this paper. If you are working from imagery of your own photos, I'm going to also share with you how to make a line drawing from your photos. So I've glued this up, and now I'm just going to place it right on here. I'm going to put it right here. Now, if you kind of overlap the top edge, you'll be able to get kind of a varied edge to your paper, which is kind of cool. I'm gonna just burnish this. Any extra glue you can always add to the bottom of it. So this is what I have so far. Now I'm gonna add, I have this picture of buildings along Allegheny Ave, and I'm just going to put these in my drawing. So I'm gonna look at them. So if you wanna take your drawing and your photo and put it right on your paper, and then just look at your drawing and make a line drawing. And you can use pencil for this, you can use a colored marker. Feel free to make as many mistakes as possible, and then you can keep layering on top of it. I just love layering and layering and layering. So even if you make a mistake with your drawing, you can always layer on top of it with another piece of collage. You can also draw directly on a separate paper and then add it to this too if you want. But I'm gonna go right on top of this paper. So I'm just looking at this building here, and I'm making a contour line drawing. So I have just made a line drawing of the building and I went over the seam with it. So feel free to go over the seam and draw a line drawing. You can also use tracing paper. Now, if you do have tracing paper, that's great. You can actually just use tracing paper right over this, or you can use a window. So tracing paper is great. You can use a window to like use as a light box. So you can actually, a sunlit window with tracing paper and your photo can create a light box. So just gonna do this. You can take your building, your photo of your buildings, and just use tracing paper. So I'm gonna add, I guess I'll add the car in there. I love drawing cars. I like transportation in general. So you'll see a lot of bikes and cars, and there's buses in my upcoming mural. Bikes I usually draw as well. All kinds of transportation. And for me, it's like they can be very metaphorical too. Okay, so I drew a little car. So you feel free to trace, and you can kind of use your, if you do have tracing paper, move around with it. So I'm gonna put a lamppost in there too. You can also turn this over and actually rub it right onto your paper, and it comes right directly on there. So this is a magic of tracing, is you can turn your tracing paper over and then you have a little car on there that I'm gonna use a marker to outline. All right, so I have that. And now I'm gonna look on Google Maps for a satellite map of 18th and Allegheny to add to this. So I like to just add and add and add imagery that will, and then as there's more and more imagery, then afterwards I start using more imaginative like lines and doodles. So I have a satellite image right now of 18th and Allegheny that I'm gonna add to this. So while looking, if you wanna look at a device and you can kind of look at the satellite versions, you can doodle along. You can even get a street view too, which is really cool. So feel free to take a walk on Google Maps. Oh, here's a street view. I'm just gonna take a little walk on Google Maps and make some drawings. So feel free to doodle as you go. So look at different areas. I'm gonna put like boxes and an arrow over here. And use color, use your colored pencils as well as your markers. And have fun. A wheel. Anything you see. So you can see I'm actually looking right now at the screen and not at my paper as much. So have fun and like don't look as much at your paper, but look at the imagery you're working from. And think about the noise of the street, like the noise of cars and things like that. An experience of being traveling and walking around. So I'm gonna get back to my map version. I also have printed out a map here, so I think I'm just gonna draw straight from this map. I like to use like a specific palette, so blues and oranges are kind of, and grays, and then I'm gonna add and add and add more colors to this during the time lapse. So I have a combination of water-soluble crayons and just like pencils. And this is like a water-soluble crayon, so I'm gonna do like a big area of color over here. big square. And you could actually look at your map to add more squares too. So I'm gonna do like some bigger squares on the map. I'm gonna grab my brush that I have here and just make it a little washy. So I've taken these squares from the map and made them washy. Sort of a wash pattern. And that's what is cool to use, like some water-soluble crayons and pencils. So this is what I have so far. I'm gonna color in my coloring book page that you guys also have access to with a marker. This is what I have so far. And now if you want, when you folded your paper, you can actually fold it again and kind of work on it on that side at the bottom. So I'm going to continue to look at my Google Maps for imagery. There's this cool railroad line on here that's really nice. It's going to create a break in the paper, a break in the drawing. I love these roofs too, like drawing the roofs. So looking down and looking up straight across on the street. So drawing different sections from Google Maps. So you can draw cars and different map locations and just have a good time doing this. So this is where I'm at so far. Probably gonna collage some more imagery. I like doing these like square patterns as like a kind of measure of time and building a city. So I'm gonna grab some more imagery from one of my coloring book pages. So feel free to make line drawings in color. That's also really cool, to make some line drawings in color on different paper and then collage into your paper. More cars. Probably would like to put a bike in this as well, and I will do that in the time lapse. This so far is what I have, and I would love to see what you have come up with as well. So please share it with me, or tag your work in process. Once you're done, again, just let this dry and then put it under a whole lot of heavy books so it really flattens itself out. Check out my website for more images about New Cortland. This is literally how I make designs for murals and make artwork in general for shows and any kind of design work. I love to use a lot of screen printing as well, so if sometimes my collages are screen prints instead, I also do collages using wheat paste and screen print. So definitely check out my website for more information about my work and have a really good time doing this. Have fun and doodle into it and have a good time. Play around with different imagery and make things up from your head, and work on this either for an hour or for like a week and see what happens. Thank you.